Welcome back to our election coverage, SABC taking you to the story. That's what we are doing during these road shows. We are bringing in our teams into different areas around the country. We are ensuring that South Africans have a voice. In fact, it was last night here in this area that 2 people were killed, and that is in gang violence. And that's something that, unfortunately, to people that live here in Gelvendale and other areas here in the northern areas of Port Elizabeth, is becoming a reality to them. Every single day there are gunshots, there are people being killed in crossfires, there are 3-year-olds that are being shot, 2-year-olds, 13-year-olds being killed. This is how people of South Africa have to live, and it's unacceptable. The community want change. They want answers. We have the political parties that are desperate for their votes. So if these supporters vote for the political parties, how are they going to help them? Before the break, we spoke to gangsterism. I believe we're going to talk more to gangsterism. But right now, I want to pick up where we left off, and that was the issue of land. There was a question posed to the DA about their land policy and about land redistribution. Ethel, I'm going to start with you before I get the other questions. If you can please answer very quickly.
Thank you very much. The DA very definitely believes in reconciliation, redress and restitution. We have seen that land reform and land transformation has failed dismally under the ANC government. But we also very definitely support the provisions of the Constitution, where we have a Bill of Rights, and Section 25 of the Constitution guarantees the right of everybody to own property. We want to expand that. In fact, we want to give title deeds to every single South African who lives on a piece of land, that land can be theirs. We don't believe that you can expropriate property without compensation. That's tantamount to theft. Therefore, we will oppose any initiatives to change our Constitution that provides for the right to own property. That's our position on expropriation without compensation.
All right, there you go. That was the answer to a question we had posed before the break. We are going to go now to all of the questions now. I'm begging you again, question to a representative and move away from the mic. No stories, no anything. Please, we don't have time. So I'm going to go through all of these questions and try and give everybody a question if possible. Let's go, sir. Over to you.
Now, I think from my side, my question would be to the panel.
All right, let me come forward. How's that?
Thank you, Leanne. I think mine would be first to the DA. The first thing that I want to correct, the DA said that the state of the situation outside the dirt. I must remind them that it's a DA-led ward that we are in. On second is the crime. One thing that is important, Leanne, that I need to state here, I think as South Africans and this northern areas, we are over-politicizing crime in our area. It's by time that all of us must come together. The second thing to the DA is also in connection with, you can't import what you can't get right where you govern. Like for instance, Cape Town, as per the 2018 stats, is the highest when it comes to crime. It's obvious that the short spotter that they brought in does not work. What I want to say or ask the DA, because of their governance, more than 75 people were killed. Do they agree with that? The other thing is just, should we not from the panel also there bring in sniffer dogs? Because that is a challenge that we have, because drugs is a big problem when it comes to crime. It seems even we have to go as far as to bring in boomer gates, because it works in certain areas, more visible policing. But then also to Mr. Trollop, is that most of the resources in the Metro Leanne are in the western region. It's a fact. I know what I'm talking about. Shouldn't they assist, because most of that areas are governed by them? Make sure that those resources come to this area of the northern areas, Helenville, Katanga. And that is what I want to ask.
Thank you very much. Okay, fair enough. Next question.
Good morning, Leanne. I'm Edwin van Vieren. I'm a member of the DA. I'm also a member of the provincial legislature. My question is directed to the DA, to Ethel Trollop.
please begin again. I don't think the panel could hear a word you were saying. Let's start again. Sorry.
Thank you, Leanne. My name is Edmund van Vieren. I'm a member of the DA. I'm also a member of the provincial legislature. My question is directed to the DA, to Ethel Trollip. The question is around unemployment in the Eastern Cape, the unemployment rate. In the Eastern Cape, the expanded unemployment rate as per the last quarter of 2018 stands at 46.8%. The youth unemployment rate in the Eastern Cape that is governed by the ANC stands at 49.9%. The unemployment rate has grown steadily for the last 4 quarters, implying that more people are without jobs in the Eastern Cape that is governed by the ANC. My question to the DA, what plans do you have in place to address the unemployment in the Eastern Cape? I thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move over. Your question, sir.
Good morning to you and good morning to South Africa. My name is Lukolo Namete and I'm from the United Democratic Movement, the UDM. My question will be directed to Mr. Mabandla Koko of the UDM. Mr. Mabandla Koko, can you please tell South Africa, now that you are going to be part of the government after the 8th of May, what programs or what plan does the UDM have? Because this area is one of the highly profiled crime areas. Students are not going to school and teachers are not going to school because of they are fearing for their lives. How are you going, or what plan do you have to rescue South Africa from the crime that we have? And also, in terms of growing the economy, what is the UDM plan in terms of ensuring that all South Africans are partaking in terms of growing the economy of this country? Also, when their leaders are dodging their days in court, can we trust them to fight crime and corruption? When their leaders have failed for consistently 25 years to create jobs, can we trust them to create jobs? That is all, Mr. Koko. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next question.
My question goes to the African Transformation Movement. My name is Sizwe Mgole, and I want to ask the African Transformation Movement, since the majority of people in South Africa live in rural areas without basic services and especially emergency services, they either receive late or not at all because of bad roads and unavailability of services to the rural areas, although they have been voting all along. Now my question is, what is the African Transformation Movement going to do to accelerate the provision of emergency services to the people in the rural areas?
Great question. Very important. Thank you. But that was great. We'll get that answer for you now. ATM. All right, ma'am, over to you. What is your question?
Hi. I stand here today as an indigenous person. I stand here today as an African first indigenous person. I'd like to actually emphasize the fact that there's something that we're forgetting about when we speak about land. In the 1800s, the Berlin Conference actually decided the fate of South Africa. And in this, we have suffered as people of Africa because we have our most important cultural heritage has been taken away from us. When they decided our fate, they did not think of our ethnic, linguistic, and cultural heritage. We are now recognized as the people of Africa, as the first nation and the first indigenous people. My question to the panel, first and foremost, is that my prerogative is that democracy should have no barriers. So what is our political parties at whole and at large going to do to us or for us as South African First Nation indigenous people? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll get the responses from the panel in a short while. Ma'am, over to you.
My name is Catherine Harris and I'm representing compatriots of South Africa. My question is to the ANC, DA, as well as to compatriots of South Africa. To the DA, I want to say, the DA was in power, but still our people didn't get employment, and we still are left behind. And to the ANC, my question is, on Monday there was an advert out for Dora and Ginza for jobs, and the advert said that 39 is going to be black, and only one colored is going to employ. Where is the fairness in that as employment? And to CSA, I want to ask, what is CSA going to do about the situation of the colored people, the brown people of South Africa?
All right. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. All right, next question.
Goeiedag, my naam is Antoni Pieterse, ek is van die Congress of the People. En ek wil net eerstens sê my hart is baie seer dat soveel mense van Suid-Afrika seer het, waar die government nie kyk agter hulle en wat hulle nodig het nie. So dis tyd dat die mense begin govern en seker maak dat hulle kry wat hulle verdien. My eerste vraag is, and my first question to the ANC, you say you fight corruption. I don't need you to fight corruption after the elections. I need you to do it now. So what are you going to do about corruption in our country? Please reply to that. And my second question is to Siasanga from COPE, the youth leader. Tell me, what are you going to do about crime in South Africa, specifically in the Nelson Mandela Bay area? And how are you going to sort out our electricity problems? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who was that last question directed at? The last question? Who was that? Okay, to Siasanga. All right, thank you very much. Okay, over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm Louise Burger from the ACDP. And I would like to address my question to Mr. Lance Grootboom from the ACDP. We've heard a lot of promises this morning, and all the promises are going to cost money. We want to know where's the money going to come from, and what will the ACDP do with the corruption and with the crime and the questions that's been posed this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Right, next question.
My question will be directed straightly to the EFF representative. I would like to ask, what is the action plan on the land expropriation, and how are we going to implement it for the informal settlement? And secondly, you see the crime rate in our township is very high, and we've got a problem with the drugs. What is your action plan in that, and what are your programs for the schools and the youth to keep them away from drugs and everything else?
Thank you. Sorry, ma'am, that question was to? Who was that question to?
To the EFF.
To the EFF. Okay, to the EFF. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dion. I have one question for Mr. Strolop. My question is, what is your plan for the youth? What is the way forward for the youth? Because for 25 years, we as youth of Hallenvale had suffered under the ANC. So now, we want to see the change. We want you to show us the change. We're putting our trust in something new. We can't keep on holding onto something that doesn't make a difference in us and in us as a community. They keep promising us jobs. How long is the youth of Hallenvale sitting without jobs? The people why the youth of Hallenvale is turning gangsters is because you guys are guilty people's future.
Okay. All right, the people have spoken. The questions have been asked. We need to take a quick break. Directly after this, we turn the cameras back to the panel and they need to give answers. Stay tuned.